What's up, ninjas? It's the Shaeman here, and today we're going to talk about how to work with your identity and to shift your identity from unconscious reaction to conscious creation. Now, this is a subject that you probably see a lot out there on YouTube. A lot of people like to talk about these types of themes. So I'm going to throw in my 2 cents, show you what I'm going on about these days, how I coach guys with this type of work, and what I have experienced that actually works as an inner game coach and a transformational masculinity actualization coach for the last 20 years. So let's go. All right, first of all, if you're a guy who has been working hard in life, in many ways, if you have been the kind of guy who decided that he was going to be a winner a long time ago, that you decided that you were going to be somebody who was going to achieve, somebody who was going to have a big life, a big experience, a big sense of self, and you were going to be able to prove to everybody that you were a good one, that you're a good guy, that you're a hard worker, that you're a champion, that you're a winner, or that you're not going to let people hold you down. And as a result of that, you got the external success. You started to become more powerful and being able to have the career, the money, and the recognition. And you were also doing the thing that you were told to do by society in your job, family, education system, yet at the same time, you were still left with a sense of emptiness. You were left with a feeling of being trapped, feeling of autopilot, mediocrity, feeling stuck, kind of a cardboard cutout. You felt like an imposter, wearing the uniform of yourself on a daily basis, pretending to be somebody that you don't even know what you're supposed to be or how it's supposed to work, especially in a world that we live in these days that tends to be very much based on fitting in, showing up, doing the things that people expect you to do in certain symbolic ways, with certain language, expectations, formulas. And in many ways, that leaves you in a position of feeling not only trapped in autopilot, but also stuck in overthinking, stuck in over-intellectualization, stuck in anxieties, fears, doubts, insecurities, things happening inside your mind where you are not really present. You feel like the world is against you, experience is against you and not for you. So if you're watching this and this is speaking to you, then you're not alone. I work with guys like you on a weekly basis, multiple times a week for the whole of the last 10 years, pretty much. Been working with guys transforming lives across all kinds of domains. Whether it's guys in the military, corporate, independent business development, science, technology, engineering, mathematical fields. You know, guys dealing with intellectual high levels of responsibility. Like, it's normal that we feel these ways when we're under these types of conditions. So if we want to start to get past this point of feeling reactive to the situation, then we have to learn how to take life from a more fundamental position. We have to learn to realize that if we are not able to become aware of our superposition, our deeper capabilities, then we're going to get stuck in this lower level of ourself, this mental projection, what I call the Clark Kent state. This externally successful guy who's internally stuck, who's operating from a place of reactivity, is operating from a place of insecurity and survival, governed by your emotional mindsets, your programming, and your limited mindsets that have been developed as a reaction to the circumstances and the authorities that you have been exposed to. You know, instead of being a creator, instead of being a director, instead of being a chooser of what really matters in your life. Now, obviously, the cost of staying like this in your life is huge. Now, I'm 45 years old. I'm actually 46. I don't even know my own age. I'm 46 years old, and I know what it's like to just stay in a stuck state for an extended period of time because I did it when I was younger. You know, I went through a lot of stuff in my life, including abandonment and betrayal and difficulties when I was young. You know, seeing and experiencing family breakdowns and fragmentation, extreme health crises, having problems for extended periods of time, going through chronic fatigue, you know, experiencing lots of layers of abandonment and poverty and difficulties, having a lot of challenges with being able to succeed in the world because of these stuck states of limiting identities and experiences and circumstances. Things that if I didn't take care of, if I didn't stay forward focused, if I wasn't growth orientated, if I didn't choose to keep asking better questions, to learn better solutions, to surround myself with different people and to get into the position of a different reality, then I would be just stuck in the same old compounding, isolating feelings. Now, if you're the type of person that comes from a professional position and you don't change your reality because you are stuck in the comfort zone of just that identity, and you feel like just trying to climb the corporate ladder or just trying to make more money or just trying to be more successful to get to the next KPI, to get to the next vision, to get to the next landmark of the thing that you're supposed to get to is your entire operating system. And at the same time, you've been doing that for months, for years, maybe even for decades. Well, as you are probably experiencing and are paying attention to, life is slipping you by, my man. Your dreams are disappearing and you will not live forever. Time is short and your dreams need to be balanced with reality, with action. So the risk of allowing yourself to live in bad habit patterns of your subconscious mind constantly running is that you live a half life of only external tokens of success. But internally, there's just nothing going on. Internally, there's no meaning. Internally, it's empty. And it doesn't matter, honestly, if you have a great outward looking life and you have cool suits or cool watches or a great bank account, or even if you can pay for girls and you can show off a cool lifestyle and you can have models and bottles around you and you can have this amazing situation, yet at the same time, internally you're dead, internally you're empty, internally you're still living in some type of narcissistic fantasy of trying to keep up with the boys, trying to be good enough to daddy or mummy, trying to be okay in the world. And you might hate hearing this, and I'm sorry to offend you if this is the actual case for you, but this is a wake-up call. This is a necessary step of being able to step through this programming, because if you don't, then you're going to be a slave to the programming rather than a master over it. And what I want to give you, if you care, if you're interested to pay attention, is mastery over your own programming. That's what this whole thing is about. So the solution isn't struggling harder. It's not doing more that's more of the same thing. It's to try new and different things and ideally do something that is new that's going to put you into an alternative state. This is what I call going into the Superman position, going into the super state. So you have to get out of unconscious reaction that's keeping you in the backwards churn of the downward spiral and instead start to redefine yourself from a victim of circumstance into a creator of your reality. And this is a key difference. This is not just an idea, even though I'm presenting as an idea. This is a physio-attentional, psycho-emotional skill set. This is a reality that you can implement and become more effective by doing it. Now, the system is all about creating what you practice and practicing what you become. So your system of attention, your system of mind, body, emotions, your dimensionality of yourself, which is the way you think, the way you feel, the relationships you experience, is a program. And if it's programmed for comfort, if it's programmed to keep you in the same old story of who you are rather than becoming who you could be, what is possible, then you're going to avoid the actual reality of pushing through. You're going to avoid the necessary change and challenge of breaking through. Now, this means sleeping in, being lazy, choosing the easy options. This means chasing quick hit dopamine, easy addictive thoughts, feelings, and habits. Whether that's exposing yourself to adult material online, eating a lot of junk food and not being healthy, spending your time staying up all night and distracting yourself with garbage media, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, numbing yourself. It's all habit patterns of self-soothing. And in this day and age, I get it. I understand. I'll put up my hand and say, look, I've been there, done that. I know exactly what those habit patterns can be like and are like when you're in them. And the truth is that we need to handle them like they are very unruly and unhealthy parts of us that need to be put into alignment. We need to shift our identity around those habit patterns. Because if we don't practice new neurological patterns, then we're going to have the same old history repeating itself as our current reality into the future. Because the truth is that neurons that fire together wire together. I'm sure you've heard this from Dr. Joe Dispenza or other characters out there. Every time we choose a choice that is the same old choice, every time we think a thought in the same old way, every time we feel a feeling and an action, we reinforce the same old neural pathways. So if we want to rewire our realities, then we have to first of all start to shift our internal focus. Now, this means be able to master our internal representations. Now, I'm sure you've understood and understand the idea that our attention, the way we think and the way we talk to ourselves is a very key part of how we feel and the type of experience that we're having inside of our lives. This is called internal representation systems. What we see, what we hear, what we feel, and also what we smell and taste, and also what's the bigger meaning that we create out of all of that. So we need to be aware of these things, particularly what we see, what we say, what we feel, and we need to get control over how we manage our attention in these ways. This means shifting the soundtracks in our mind of the narratives, shifting the movies and the pictures, understanding how we run this stuff in our head. Now, this is the content management system of our own internal media. This is about getting power over our own focus. To do that, we need to understand that focus dictates reality, that perception is projection. If we consciously shift our focus, which I've talked about in many other videos, we bring our attention back, breathe, smile, feel, choose to be here now, and you can start to move from fear-based, reactive-based, victim-based, suffering-based attention into higher levels of meaning, higher creative power, into higher perspectives, higher paradigms where you're the chooser, where you're the creator over your experience, even if you're not feeling good, even if it's not about pleasure, even if it's not comfortable. So if you want to forge your will, then it's important to do things that help your will become stronger. This means give yourself purpose, give yourself tasks that will generate quick wins and build proof and discipline and momentum. If you're stuck in a dopamine hole, if you're caught in a downward spiral of the quicksand of constant attention and brain rot, of being in the scrolling, doom scrolling kind of attention economy, then start to shift back, to breathe and clench and take a deep breath and just feel the body, clench the PC, smile, and then give yourself the power to control one breath. Be grateful for one thing. You just took control of your mind. You just took control of your physiology. You just took control of your attention. Do that again. Do it 3 times. Breathe in, clench the PC. Say to yourself, I am here now. Breathing out. Being aware of what you're aware of. Being aware of directing your attention and choosing something else. What else can you be grateful for? Breathing in and feeling. You can start to direct your attention towards an identity. What would it look like if you did exercise on a regular basis? What would it look like if you challenged yourself in small ways? As you can see here in the slide, taking cold showers or putting yourself to task to be able to design and develop things in new ways, to be able to give yourself strategic restrictions that are designed to teach you limits, to commit to developing yourself in an intentional way, building block by block, step by step. So just the same as you build a Lego castle, you build it block by block, step by step, and you start teaching yourself. You should not expect that the castle is going to build itself, or just by looking at the instructions, it's going to materialize itself. And you also can't just stick all the puzzle pieces of all the Lego pieces in a big bag and shake it up and then imagine that a castle's going to fall out. It's going to take intentionality. It's going to take focus. It's going to take skill to overcome the discomfort and the difficulty of your own resistance. So learn to intentionally love that resistance, turn towards it, have gratitude for it, see the intentional positive inside of the challenge and start to move through it. And then we start to move from shadow deniers and reactors into shadow eaters and digesters and creators. Now, if we start to be more creative, to be more positive and intentional inside of who we are, and we feel good, we start to develop self-belief, then we move from this needy, reactive, taking, kind of empty sense of self, which I see a lot of in the world, like, for example, coming from the whole world of like the seduction community and the pickup community and being involved with that community for a long time. I've seen, and there's still plenty of these guys out there that are still just desperate to get validated by more transactional interactions with women, by more sexual interactions that make them feel fulfilled, as if somehow by acquiring more body count, by acquiring more sexual gratification, that's going to overcome their internal emptiness and the internal neediness. Now, the opposite is true, that you become a creator when you start to have something that feels good, you can show up, you can give something to the world. You're not playing games, You're present, you're grounded, you're friendly, you're open, you're genuine, you're interactive. Now, can you still be sexual? Of course. Can you express your intent? Of course. You can do it even better. Now you're coming as a lover, you're coming as an adventurer, you're coming as a romantic, powerful giver of opportunities and offers rather than an empty, hungry ghost that's vampiric for attention and narcissistic feeding all the time. So this is something our culture is very much becoming infected with, is this narcissism and this dark triad personality type stuff, which is becoming, somehow forgiven and not shamed. Now, it's better to come back to being a creator, to shift your identity towards approaching yourself, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to life, your relationship to the people around you, as a socially free and transformed man that wants to give his value, wants to give his integrity, wants to give his rule of beautiful king power to the world around him. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? It means when you feel good, when you appreciate humans, when you focus on qualities and values of things like love and appreciation and curiosity and fun, or even good things like pleasure and having adventure and sensuality, you can start to explore the world through those frames, through those values, through those offers. Just the same as any brand or any value in the world, if it's worth something, it will display its value, it will show its value, it will reward the people that invest in it with value, and that's why it maintains its investment. And it's very important, as time goes on, that we realize that we work with them, share value, and we contribute to a world of interactive value for everybody, especially with men and women, especially with ourself, especially with our primary relationship, with our deeper understanding of who we are. Now, the ultimate step that you can take if you want to become a man of choice and freedom is to get connected to your actualized masculinity. This is an internal state of masculine authority and presence and groundedness that results and emerges out of being in your integrity of being connected to your embodied state and feeling it, connecting to your values, and recognizing that when you go out into the world and you feel like you are a present, magnetic, attractive, sexy guy who deserves attention and wants to give good value to the world, it's going to be easier to talk and to achieve experiences of connection and also to attract women that feel that, because if you are legitimately practicing being present, being a good guy that is in his power, then you are both powerful and safe to be around. Women will trust you. Women will be attracted to that. And ultimately, women want this more than they want the bad guys, more than they want the bad boys. They might be addicted to some bad boy behaviors. They might find that stuff attractive, mostly because they don't like the idea of weakness. They don't like the idea of being the leader themselves. They want a man who's going to lead, who's going to make them feel attractive, who's going to make them feel trust, who's going to make them feel safe. So if you want to be that, then you have to get into your masculine sense of power. Now, this is not something that you get by making money. It's not something that you prove by having external status. It's not something that happens because of external fashion statements or external add-ons that you stick to yourself. It happens as a result of internal mastery. It happens as a result of trusting yourself, cultivating yourself, changing the programs of your own subconscious mind, working with your history, upgrading and updating your identity, and becoming transformed, transmuted man, a capable, powerful man, a creative man. So this is where we get to the next level, which is you become a hero of your own destiny as a result of this. You become the kind of guy who's able to maneuver in a way where he's offering a whole new level of possibilities to himself and to the world. So to do that, you have to go through an improvement process that is both immediate and imminent. It's not necessarily incremental in the way that you have been taught from the past. It's a shift in identity first. It's a foundation of transformational being that you are learning to hold yourself in. It's about becoming who you truly are, and as a result of that, allowing what you're actually capable of being to emerge. So this is your job as an agent of your own liberation. Because what I'm trying to share with you guys, what I'm trying to teach with you guys is something that's much bigger than typical coaching or typical therapy or pickup coaching or any of these constrained small boxes of this niche, this problem, this solution, this guy. I've been working with professionals for the year and they've been just telling me constantly, just focus on one problem, just focus on one guy, just focus on one thing. Okay, I'll do that in individual videos. But there's no way that I can teach what I'm going to teach just by putting myself in a small box of only approaching women or a small box of only helping men to be more successful with making more money, or helping men to feel better in their mental health. And that's not exactly what I do. What I do is something that's fundamentally about the mastery of your own sense of destiny, your own sense of focus. Now, is that easy? No. Am I a perfect master of it? I'm not. But it doesn't mean I'm not capable of teaching it. It doesn't mean I haven't been experiencing it. It doesn't mean I haven't been practicing it for decades. And it also doesn't mean that you can't step on this path either. Because the truth is this illusion that we're supposed to be some perfect hero in the eyes of others with all these shiny things so we can say to everybody, hey, look at me, I'm perfect, you're not. Hey, I did it well and you didn't, is an illusion. It's a perfectionist illusion. It's a subject of high standard schema. It's a subject of emotional manipulation and suppression of society. It comes from the dark side of our society, which is a hierarchy-based, shame-based, lack-based system. That if we're not careful and if we don't learn to harness it and direct it and overcome it with our own sovereign will and power of intelligence, we become stuck in it. We become victims of it. So instead, become the hero of your own destiny. Become the man that's making moves on his own terms. So this is the first step on this quest of becoming a man. It's being able to break free by saying yes to the possibility of mastering your own identity, of diving into reality in a way where you are not denying the challenge. You are not avoiding the reality of your own emotions. In a way, what we need to do is be able to, first of all, bring our attention back to being present and to create the support and the space, which is also what I'm here for as a mentor, as an assistant, a helper, as a guide, as a coach, as a brother, to help you to build some space and understanding to be able to be heard, to be reflected, to be supported, and ultimately to start to develop some emotional regulation in the face of your dysregulation, to be able to overcome the shame, the fear, the guilt, and to develop new patterns that put you into a more powerful mindset of control over yourself in the moment rather than reacting. Because this is about mastering your identity. It's a shift in the foundation of who you truly are from a platform base of true attention. And when you come from this place, the quest truly begins. You start to emerge as a man on a real mission, on a real path. Now, where does this go? Where does this lead? Well, this is for you to discover. I can share my thoughts, my feelings, my experience, and I will do so in continuing videos. But I want you guys to start to open up. Who are you? How does the world work for you? What is your quest? What does it mean to be a liberated man for you? What do you want to learn? What are your challenges? Tell me. I'd love to hear. I'd love to know. I want to share more of this with you guys. So you can begin your liberation journey right now. The number one belief that's holding you back right now is really that you don't know that it's even possible to make this journey possible. So take a moment to really think about what is your number one narrative belief. What is the thing that if you could really boil it down that's underneath your symptoms of hesitation, your symptoms of fear, your symptoms of self-sabotage, self-limitation, suppression, negativity, pessimism. Or even if you're a guy who might have his stuff together, there's a lot of guys who are doing pretty well. They're pretty balanced, they're pretty focused, they're pretty positive, but still they're not really pushing the way that they could. They're not really maxing out their potential. They're not really becoming the masters of their own destiny yet. And if that's the case, then also write down what is it that you think is your next best goal, your next best mission, your next best step, that if you could put it into clarity would help you to move forward now. So what is your number one limiting belief? What is your number one goal? And as you acknowledge that and put that into your context, then you're going to start to move in the right direction. Last thing I'm going to say here today is take that vision, take that goal, and start to cultivate it inside yourself. And take that limiting belief and start to question it, start to challenge it, start to use the power of your creativity. And when you're ready, reach out to me and we'll do a breakthrough call. We'll do a clean slate. What does that mean? I will put you into the pipeline. I will give you a whole system of being able to understand where you're at with a psychological assessment, a lifestyle assessment, build a roadmap of effectiveness. This is no joke. This is something I do with guys on a regular basis. Once again, I do it multiple times a week with multiple guys. It's very powerful, and it starts to set a foundation of new growth and possibilities inside of your life. So if you're interested, reach out to me, like, subscribe, share this with your bros out there who need to hear this, and let's get together and let's collaborate. Let's create. Let's bring back the economy of favors. Let's bring back the brotherhood of integrity. Let's bring back leadership and integrity and groundedness and kingship so that we can move in the world as spiritual warriors and romantic adventures for real. All right, peace out. May all your dreams come true. I'll see you guys in the next episode. What's up, ninjas? Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this material so that I can keep on growing this amazing channel. And if you'd like to get the help that I can offer, I would like you to check out the link in the description. Go to my website and you will be able to find amazing limited time offers to help you to be able to break through and make the changes that you would really like to have in your life. Until then, this is the Shaeman saying peace out. May all your dreams come true, and I'll see you guys on the other side.